What's up, guys? This is Joe.
And this is Krissy.
And this is Married Life. And we believe that it's never too early or too late to have a great marriage. And that's why this podcast exists. And funny story, we already started the podcast and I forgot to hit record. So
Round two
right here at the beginning. And today we are talking about money. That's right. Because like the theologian Biggie Smalls said, more money, more problems. Now, I personally want to test that theory.
Let's do it.
Because I believe if I had more money, I would have less problems. But most people probably agree with me. They have less money and more problems. So what do we do with less money and the problems? How do we actually succeed financially, especially when people are getting married and they have two different college debts coming in with one another. They have car loans. They have credit cards.
Well, they even have two different mindsets of how to handle money.
Right.
Like that's honestly the biggest problem.
That was us.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like every buck that was in my hand, I'm ready to spend. Exactly. I'm like, ooh, $1. I can get like, if I find another $1 and change, I can get a Red Bull. You know, like that was my mindset when we first got married.
You loved Red Bulls.
I did.
So
Red Bull
cool.
and Rockstar.
Oh my God. I forgot about Rockstars.
And I would burp and it'd smell horrible.
Oh, because it would be your food too.
Yeah.
So disgusting.
Nasty.
Oh my gosh.
But Krissy is the tightwad.
Thank you.
What's it called? The nerd.
The nerd.
Nerd alert. So anyways, when it comes to finances, we had to get on the same page because we aren't completely different pages. We're in different books, you know?
It is so true. I used to drive for a living. I was not a truck driver. As I was saying that, it sounded like I was a truck driver, but
You accused truck driver out there, girl.
for my job, I drove a lot.
You and your big rig.
I would listen to Dave Ramsey all of the time. And so that's kind of how I got turned on to like thinking about money differently. My parents, they were really good with money. They saved, we still had things but they were really, tight at the same time. Like if I wanted anything, I had to buy it, all that stuff. And so I feel like I had a really good upbringing with money, but still it's not like my parents taught me what to do. Like, this is how you save, this is how you invest, this is da-da-da-da. I didn't know any of that. And I had a 4-year college degree. I'm like...
That's what I was just going to say. Like,
what did I learn?
Does anyone teach you that?
No, they don't.
In school, you don't. In middle school, high school, college, it's kind of like, well, now you've gone through college and now you got to learn how to budget because you ain't got no money,
It's true, but nobody even teaches you how to do that.
No, not at all. So you got turned on to Dave Ramsey.
Yeah.
We went to one of his conferences or sessions in Grand Rapids, and it just helped put everything in perspective.
Yeah.
And on how we have different mindsets, kind of like how we just went through the Enneagram. There's 9 different personalities. There's different personalities when it comes to finances.
It's so true.
And so it's able to help us understand and see that because, again, me being the free spirit, well, if we don't put money aside for fun time, then I'm going to be miserable and I'm going to hate trying to get debt free. But if we don't put a budget down of saying, well, okay, well, this is our...
You only have this much fun time money.
Exactly. Then it's going to drive you nuts because then we just are off the same page again. So it helped us so much.
Yeah, and I think the pivotal point that really helped us out was that we went to the Dave Ramsey, whatever it was, conference or whatever. We went to it together.
Yeah.
It's fine that you're a free spirit and it's fine that I'm a nerd, but we cannot get on the same page and really live out the vision that we have for our lives because we're not on the same page.
Right. And
we hear it all the time, whether it's premarital, whether people have been married for a really long time, money always comes up.
Always.
And there's always deeper roots to it.
Always.
It's not, whatever. And we hear all the time, oh, do you have a budget? Oh, yeah. Well, let me see it. Oh, well, it's in our heads.
Right.
You don't,
then
have,
you
a
don't have a budget.
No, you don't. And so...
You have a budget when it's written down. It's in Excel. I mean, you drew it out on a piece of paper with your children's crayons, whatever. Like a budget has to be seen.
By both parties.
By both parties. Because you could be thinking one thing that we're doing with the money and I'm thinking something else we're doing with the money. Well, so then our budgets don't line up. Again, different pages.
And then frustration happens and people get mad at each other and it becomes a whole thing. And so this is something that is honestly dear to my heart.
It is. It's
maybe because I'm the nerd. I don't know. But I just think it has eliminated so many conversations or arguments that we don't have those arguments because we're on the same page.
I think so too. A lot of people fight about finances and we've got on the same page. And I think the first page, which we were always on from the beginning, was that 10% of whatever we make goes to God.
Yeah.
We tithe
to the local church.
To our local church. obviously we have a church, so we tithe to our church.
Yep.
And even because of that, we see a blessing. But here's the thing. I think a lot of people think, well, I can give 10%, and because the Bible says that I'll be blessed, then I can be reckless with the other 90%.
Right.
That's not good stewardship.
Nope.
Just because you still give 10% doesn't mean you can be reckless with the 90%. You still have to have a budget for the rest.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. And it gives you just such a peace of mind. It's like, okay. And it's not like you can't have any fun. You just, like you said, you budget fun.
Right.
And so today we're going to give you 7 practical things to do.
Yep.
Like these are very practical things that you can start today with your spouse to really get on the same page and start budgeting your money well.
Yep.
And just being a good steward. I think that a lot of people are struggling in their marriage because, I mean, the Bible talks about where there's no vision, the people perish. And so you're probably struggling because you have no vision. Like Joe and I have a very specific vision for our life in general. And so because we have that vision, our money lines up with it. We don't spend our money on this, that, and the other thing. Like we don't have new cars. We don't have all the new latest and greatest things. Sometimes you do. Like we can splurge, but we just budget for it. But we're not all over the place. We don't have a shotgun, just like trying to hit a target.
Well, I do own a shotgun.
Okay. Anyways. But we have a very specific vision for our life, and we make sure that our budget lines up to it.
Yeah, it's so true. And just, again, the shotgun analogy, because if you don't have a vision, if you don't have a target, how do you know if you're hitting it?
Right.
So maybe some of you, your target is to get debt free. Maybe it's to start a savings account. Maybe it's to start investing. Maybe it's to have savings for your children's college. Maybe it's to buy a new car. Maybe it's to pay off your mortgage, whatever it is, but to actually know what is our goal and ask each other that. What's
your dream?
Yeah.
Maybe you want to retire on a 10-acre farm. Like, how are you ever going to do that?
Right.
If you don't
start now.
If you do not start right now.
Yep.
And so start dreaming together, but it's hard work. And I think that's where a lot of people lose it. Like, it is very hard work. You're going to be sacrificing a lot of things, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit.
Well, I think also just for us to understand, especially millennials, Gen Z, as our kids have kids. As I love our government, I am grateful we live in America. But Social Security is not going to be there for us. If you think that I can live however I want right now and spend my money however I want because the government will take care of me when I retire.
That's a scary thought.
Oh my gosh, that is terrifying.
Yeah.
You have to be the one that is preparing for your future.
Yep.
No one else is.
Right.
And that's the same thing when it comes to investing in your marriage, when it comes to investing in yourself as a leader, as a husband, as a wife, as a father, as a businessman, as whatever it is, like it's on you. And it's the same thing with our finances. Donald Trump, he's got his own money. He ain't worrying about the government taking care of him when he's done. And
he doesn't even get a paycheck now. He didn't take a paycheck, did he?
I don't know.
I don't think he did.
He'd get it and he'd laugh. He'd like, here's my tithe.
No, I think he gives it all away. Or he doesn't take one at all. And I think he has to take like $1. I don't remember, but I don't think he takes a salary because he doesn't need it.
Yeah. Because he's been preparing.
Yep, that's true.
Prepares his kids. So let's go through these.
Okay, so we have 7 things that we're going to talk about today, and I really hope this helps you. I really hope this encourages you and just gets you on the right trajectory to get out of debt.
Yep.
Because honestly, the Bible talks about it is bondage.
Yes.
You are a slave to the lender. All right. And so number 1, you need to make a commitment to God and to your spouse, and I'm going to add did I say spouse or self?
I don't know what you said.
I don't either. Okay.
Let's start over.
You need to make a commitment to God, to yourself, and to your spouse that you want to get out of debt.
That's good.
Like, this needs to be a sit-down conversation and start dreaming and having vision for your marriage.
Yeah.
Write it down. Start thinking like, oh, if we were out of debt or if we had this much, like, what could we do? Maybe it's travel. I don't know what it is, but you need to make the commitment.
Everyone's dream's different. But yeah, everyone needs to make the commitment.
You need to make the commitment, and you need to have accountability.
God, I'm going to be a good steward. Wife, I'm not going to spend it on the things that I want to spend it on. Even when I see the shiny new toy, I'm going to say no.
Because here's the thing. There's going to be a shiny new toy on the other side of that thing, and it's just a never-ending hole.
For sure.
Of debt.
For sure.
So talk with your spouse, sit down, and have that conversation with them.
Yep. Number 2,
do not take on any more debt.
Okay, this is something that I struggle with understanding, and maybe it's just because you've taught me so well, Dave Ramsey, you know, and just other financial books we've read, because it's not like we got debt free, which we are, by the way, besides our mortgage. And it's not like we got debt free and then we just started spending everything.
Yeah.
It's still understanding. I don't know where I was going with that. I lost my train of thought. What was number 2?
I don't know, but I was so into it.
What was number 2? I'm going to find it again. Read that.
Don't take on any more debt.
Oh, yeah, that's what I was going to say. So we got debt free, and then it's not like we just went out and started buying new things. You know, we just still don't. I know some people that are in debt still from college.
Complaining about it.
Obviously complaining about it. Not having the job they thought they were going to get out of college. So they're struggling with paying back their college. But then they'll buy a new car to go even deeper in debt.
Or go on vacation to forget about all their debt that they're under.
And then when they get back, the debt's just bigger because now you just put that on Visa Gold.
Yep.
With a 20% interest.
Gosh,
and
that
now you
stresses me out. And I think the thing that I am really struggling today with words. Words are hard today.
Words are hard.
Shut up.
The English language is difficult.
I think that now you made me lose my train of thought.
Look at us.
People are going to hate us today.
No, they're just going to be like, wow, relatable. I forget things all the time too.
No, mine's gone.
Okay, well, we were talking about debt, obviously.
Oh, that's what I was going to say. I just think America has done such a disservice to us. Like, debt is normal.
Oh, for sure. Well,
it's a normal
Dave
thing.
Ramsey teaches this, and this is crazy, that for you to have a better...
a good credit score.
You have to go
into debt.
How
to build your credit.
does that make sense?
That does not make sense.
A good credit score.
And listen to me right now. If you are thinking, wow, these people really don't know what they're talking about, you are under the what's that called?
The lid.
No.
I don't know. The hand?
They have you in control.
The hand of Krissy.
It is not true. Joe and I have purchased a house. We have everything that we need.
Yep.
We are not lacking in anything, and we don't have any debt.
Yep.
You do not need to go into debt to build your credit.
No. You don't need to get a credit card. You don't need to.
You don't. If you live within your means, one, you are honoring the Lord with what you have. Because if you're not, you're saying, oh gosh, like I can't trust him. I need to provide for myself. No, you don't. Like God gives and takes away everything.
It's all his.
Even your job. You can't say, oh, well, I have this really great job. No, you don't.
At
God
any
gave
moment.
you the ability to have that job.
Yep.
And at any moment, it can be taken away from you.
Yep.
So where is your trust?
I mean, so again, if we would even think back 20 years, I mean, people who were working at Blockbuster, at Kodak, you know what I mean? Like thinking that, wow, we are killing it, right?
They were.
We are the pinnacle.
Yeah.
And then what happens? Technology changes, and
I
these
am so
companies
surprised when I
no
actually
longer
see a
exist.
what are those called?
Photo?
No.
Family video.
Family video.
We saw
and a
one in
Blockbuster.
Ludington.
I was like, what is that dinosaur?
Will I take a picture? But anyways, again, just saying all that because God gives and he can take away.
Yep.
And so if we get arrogant and prideful and think that I've done all this myself, no, everything that we have belongs to God and we are just managers of it.
It's true. And we have to be really, really good stewards. So do not take any more debt. If you make this commitment to God, to yourself, and to your spouse, stop the madness.
Right.
Where it's at.
Yep.
Cut it off. Adjust things.
Yep.
Live within your means.
Yep.
Or whatever you need to do. Get a second job. Do whatever.
Yep.
But do not take. You're just
Nope.
digging yourself in a bigger hole.
Yep.
Number 3, which I feel like should be number 1 because it's just so important, is putting God first in your money.
Mm-hmm.
Give to the local church. I would rather have 90% of my money and have it be blessed than having 100% of my money not blessed.
Right. And so for us, because we're Christians, we truly believe that. We believe that we are saying, God, we trust you. And we'll go 10%, 11%, 12%, and we give this to God, saying that no matter what, you have us. And so we live off the 90 or the 83 or the 85, whatever it is, when we're going above and beyond and stuff like that. But just understanding that your money being blessed is the best thing for your money.
It's so true. I mean, it's a law. I mean, look at all these people who give, like Oprah Winfrey.
Yep.
She is not a proclaimed Christian.
Right.
She's got her own spiritual beliefs, but she gives and gives and gives and gives.
And it
And
comes
look
back
how
to her.
blessed her life is. It's not, she doesn't like get stuff, and that's not why she's blessed. She is blessed because she gives.
And here's the thing is that a lot of people think that for me to get debt free, I have to hoard everything. But that's not the mentality to have. Because if your hands are clenched closed, how can God give you anything more in
It's
there?
true.
And God is a giver. Okay. So again, if this is for all the Christians out there, because some of you might be like, well, I'm not a Christian, I don't believe that. Okay, that's totally fine. But for Christians, we are called to be generous people.
Yep.
God modeled this before man was made, right? God first created. He gave us dominion over the earth. He gave us the garden. He said, have whatever you want except that tree, 10%, he's like, everything else is yours. So he created this ever before Moses wrote down the law that God told him to write down, And so this is something that predates the law. And because some people will be like, oh, well, no, that's, Old Testament. That's not New Testament. No, it's this forever.
New Testament, God gave us Jesus.
God, right. John 3:16, for God so loved the world, he gave his only son. Listen, generosity is the heart of God. He is a generous God, and we're called to be generous people.
It's so true. It's not just with our money, but it does start with it.
Yep, for sure. Because we want to be generous beyond, obviously, finances.
Right. Number 4 is, we just talked about this a little bit, but number 4 is develop a written plan.
Yes.
If it is not written down, it is not a budget.
It doesn't exist.
It does not exist.
We have an Excel spreadsheet. You can do that. Krissy's had it since when?
April 2009,
There
when
you
we
go.
got married.
There you go. Boom. So for
Dates
10 years,
all the way back.
for 10 years, we've been doing the same thing. And because she started that, it helped us get out of debt. We still use it, and we know this money goes here, this money goes here, this money goes here. And when things get off, Krissy and I sit down and say,
Back to the budget.
Yep. Where are we off at?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, it's because now these 2 little girls that live
Eat
in our
everything
house
in
are
sight.
cookie monsters, and they eat everything inside. Like Oscar the Grouch, just shoving everything in their mouth.
I don't understand it.
I do. They're mini-me's. They look like you. Well, Gwen looks like you.
But they eat like
But they
you.
eat like me. And you know what? As a dad, for a moment, I'm like, yeah, that's cool. It's not anymore. I'm over it.
I'm over it.
You're eating us out of house and home.
I
okay?
literally asked the doctor, hey, like, they eat a lot. Does this stop? And he's like, yeah. When they hit about the age 2, you're going to be like, oh, they're not eating any food. Well, they're both over the age of 2, and I'm still waiting for it to slow down.
Right. Well,
if anybody, like, you people out there that know my kids, you are laughing right now because you were like, yep.
They don't stop.
I am not lying.
They don't stop.
So,
but we have a budget written down. And so on our budget is obviously our tithe is the first thing. Giving, mortgage, electric.
yeah, it just goes down the line. It's literally an Excel spreadsheet. I put what we make at the top, and it subtracts everything.
Comcast.
Okay, Joe, we get
Internet.
it. We have bills.
We cut TV. So again,
Yeah,
to
we
save
don't
money.
have TV. We'll talk about that in a little bit.
Okay.
All the things that, But yeah, put it on paper.
Yep.
Or computer, whatever you want to do. Number 5 is set an attainable time frame to get out of debt.
Yeah.
Like, you can't just say, oh, we're going to get out of debt.
When?
No, when it's like an Olympian. You've got the Olympics coming up in 4 years. I don't know if that's true. I don't know when they're coming up. But like, okay, I have to hit this certain goal by a certain time, or what are you going to do? It's like losing weight. I want to lose 20 pounds. Is it going to take you 20 years?
Right.
Are you going to do it in 6 weeks?
Right.
Like, what are you going to do? You have to put a plan in place, and you have to have a deadline.
Yeah. It's a goal. And for me, it's like hitting those benchmarks, So if we want to get debt free, say within 3 years, when I see that, wow, by year 1, we've already cut off $15,000 or whatever it is, 5,000, whatever. Like, but it's because I'm a number 3 achiever. I feel good,
Yeah.
But I think if anyone sees, holy cow, we used to be in debt 20,000 and now we're down to 15,000 or 10,000 in just 1 year. We can do even more. And for us, when we first were going through this, we went through our house and we were like, what can we sell?
It's
what can
so
we,
true.
Like, what don't we use? And Krissy does this thing. We haven't done that much anymore. But it's like, if we have something for 6 months and we don't use it, get rid of it.
Oh, no, I still do that.
Okay. I thought that's.
You just don't know. That's why you're missing some shirts. You're like, where'd that thing go?
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't
People
know.
are buying my pit stain shirts.
No.
No. You
Maybe.
sound like Vivi.
But yeah, like you have to have a deadline,
Yep.
and that kind of goes into the next one.
But a like real, tangible deadline. Like, don't be like, we're going to be debt free in 4 months. Like, no, you're not.
Well, maybe if you're a millionaire.
Well, if you're, okay.
Anyways, so it kind of goes into the next one. It's like once you have that deadline, it like gets you like jacked up for it, and you will do anything and everything to attain that goal.
Yep.
And so number 6 is adjust your lifestyle.
Yep.
If you have a goal, what are you going to do, and what are you going to do whatever it takes to get there?
Right.
And those are the things that we did. We had what are those called? Garage sales.
Yep.
We did that. It just reminded me of when you went and bought stuff.
Yeah.
Another
story.
Okay. I think we've told it before.
Yeah.
You guys know what we mean.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like, what can you do? What can you save? What can you pull back on? What can you move around?
And what can you even utilize? And like, what's a gift that you have to use more money?
Second job,
So
whatever it takes.
Krissy, literally on this podcast, if you're watching the video, there's a dresser behind me that Krissy will get from a garage sale or for free from someone for $50 or less, and then she'll flip it by sanding it, painting it, and putting it on garage sale again, and make $75 off of it.
Mm-hmm.
And so again, it's just being resourceful.
That's more for my sanity reasons,
Right? Instead of just raising children.
Instead of just raising children, I was like, I have got to do something else. That's what that was for.
Okay,
but I do make money off of it,
exactly.
and we use it for certain things.
But yeah, so I mean, even when we were doing that, again, I was doing video stuff on the side for weddings and stuff, and having different tier packages, and just trying to generate more revenue than just living off of one job, because we're like, hey, this is our goal, we're gonna have to kick it.
Yeah, so there's a couple of other things that I think that we did. I mean, like, you have to know like how extreme, and this is a conversation that I think you need to have with your spouse, because if you have kids now, like, that's going to look different if you are either single, or probably not single if you're listening to this, maybe you are.
They're preparing for the married life.
Oh, there you go. Or if it's just you two. If it's you two and you don't have any kids, you can make a lot more sacrifices than maybe if you have 5 kids.
Dude, Dave Ramsey used to say it, and we used to do it like you live off rice and beans.
Literally. Rice
like,
and beans.
Cut out. Here's the thing, guys. Tip, all right, because we're going to have to wrap this up. We're going to make this a 2-parter. This is something that you guys can just do. We don't do it a whole lot. But eating out costs so much more than you just buying food and making it at home. So here's a super simple example as we wrap this up. This morning, we were out of eggs and bacon, so we didn't have breakfast food. So me and Gwen went to the store, and on our way to the store, there's Third Coast, and she's like, I want to go eat there, And so this is literally what goes through my mind. I know a Third Coast sandwich is going to cost $7 to $8 just for me, a breakfast sandwich, and I know Gwen, it's going to cost another $6, $5, kids menu, whatever. So we're looking at $12, $13, $14, whatever, tip, 15, 16, whatever, blah blah. It's almost $20 for just 2 people to eat, right? I'm like, honey, we'll do that sometime for a date, not right now, because we still have we have Krissy and Vivi at home that need to eat also. So we go into Jewel, get the eggs, get the bacon. It comes to $7, which I was able to feed all of us for $7, plus we have leftover eggs and leftover bacon, versus if we would have went out for breakfast,
exactly.
And just fed 2 people for $20 versus having 2 meals for 4 people for $7.
I know.
And again, some of you might be like, yeah, that's a no-brainer, Joe. But for some people out there, you're in debt because you eat out. And listen, I can understand that. I did the same thing. When I was in college and I got my money for what's it called? A student
Grants
loan.
and student loans.
I would eat out at Chipotle and Qdoba almost every day.
It's so good, though.
Dude, it's so good. But my student loan debt was paying off Chipotle. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, I spent the stupidest...
And your TV.
Yeah. TV, beer, alcohol. I was so bad with money because I thought this was free money, not understanding, the interest rate on this is through the roof. But anyways, on the next one, we're going to give you guys some tips on some other things that you guys can cut out and go through our last 2 points. Anything you want to say before we wrap this up?
No, I think that's so good. Just before you listen to the next one, just get with your spouse. Pray about it. Do you want to get out of debt? How bad do you want to get out of debt? Have that conversation so you can kick debt in the butt.
Yep. I'm Joe.
I'm Krissy.
And this is Married Life, and we believe that it's never too early or too late to have a great marriage. See you guys next time.